Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Property Management 101, and today we'll be discussing tips for residents. If you've not already done so, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. And if you found this video helpful and learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. This video will be slightly different than my normal video, as my normal videos tend to apply best to investors or property manager operators, but this one's going to apply to renters. This applies to any renter renting a commercial space, an apartment, a single family home, a student property, etc. Number one best practice to keep in mind, if you are a renter, know and follow your lease. I know this sounds obvious, but this is the most common thing and common tip that I can tell you as a renter that will be helpful for you. As a resident, you should know and understand and follow the following of things that tend to come up more than other things within your lease. What is your notice period that you're required to give if you're going to move out? Most states and leases range from anywhere from 30 to 60 days prior to your expiration date. So if your lease ends December 31st, you need to get that notice in by November 1st at the latest. And typically that is required by writing. Some assets may have a certain form or something like that you may have to fill out. But either way, it's probably going to be required to be in writing for your notice period. Make sure that you're paying your rent on time and early. Most sites and within most states, there'll be an allowable grace period. And this could be anywhere from 3 to 5 days. So if rent's due on the 1st, you may not get hit with a late fee till the 4th or to the 6th, depending if your site has a grace period or not. But keep in mind, just because you have a grace period doesn't mean that this is when rent's due. It just means you can simply pay without penalty. Know and understand how to submit a work order. How does your parking work? Knowing and following your lease will be the best practice I would recommend to any renter. Number two best practice to keep in mind for any renter, get it in writing. If you're speaking to a staff member that's regarding something that's outside of your lease and or a special circumstance, get that agreement in writing. You can't expect a staff member to remember and honor anything that you spoke about outside your lease. If you speak to a staff member about something that is not listed within your lease or goes against something within your lease, get it in writing. And the last best practice to keep in mind, as a tip for residents, have a sense of community. Having a sense of community can mean a lot of things. But coming from someone who's been a property manager, here's what we're referring to when we say have a sense of community. Pick up after your pet. If there's something that needs addressed by the maintenance team in a common area, make sure you submit a work order for it. Don't just assume that someone from the staff will see it. If you notice things that are out, like lights in the parking lot or around common area buildings, submit a work order for it. Pick up after yourself. Have a question, ask the staff. They much rather have you ask them than you perform something that's incorrect that causes them more work. Clean your fitness equipment after using it. Don't assume that some of these things are always being caught that I mentioned and being done. Having a good sense of community will allow you and others to really fully enjoy where you live. And the bonus tip for today, for things to keep in mind if you're a resident, make sure you're addressing the questions to the right party. If your electric is out, I would contact the electric company first. If your water is out, contact the water first. If your cable or internet is out, contact the cable and internet company first. I know seems obvious, but I was always very surprised when I worked on site how many calls we would get if the power was out from a resident. And obviously, we're not supplying the power. We're just simply the management company. Most sites, the residents have to individually set up an account with those utility companies. So that was something that always required them to kind of go to them to find out what's going on. And those are the best avenues to get that information. If you have any questions about this video or any of my videos, feel free to comment to this video. I'll be happy to address it for you. And if you found this video helpful and learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Enjoy your home.